Little background before yesterday, my wife gave birth Friday, 5 o'clock, 3 weeks early. And we was able to take AJ home Sunday night about 6 o'clock or so, which is the history of that. 3 weeks early, the house wasn't 100% baby prepped. It was about 85% or so. So what happened yesterday was, my entire job yesterday was to go to Lowe's to get a couple of latches and bolts to build the final gate to keep the dogs off the deck, as well as get stuff like a baby monitor that we were supposed to get at the shower we was going to have on Saturday. Just the typical stuff you get right at the very end. And me and my wife walked out on the back deck and looked to see exactly where the gate was going to go. And when we came back in, we inadvertently didn't lock the door. We've got 2 doors on our bedroom, one that leads to the outside and one that leads to the rest of the house. And then we'd actually locked the door that leads to the rest of the house. And she had just put AJ down for a nap. She just fed him. And we went downstairs and I had a target list that was already printed up, and in 2 minutes, it could have been 2 minutes. And she was like, because the dogs were downstairs, and she said, "It's quiet, I'm going to run upstairs real quick." And when she ran upstairs, she realized the back door was open. One of the dogs is physically able to open doors, kind of stands on her hind legs and slaps the latch. It's a way of getting in and out of the house in certain locations. And so I heard her scream, and at that point, I knew something wasn't good. And Dakota, the dog in question here, has a habit of being the thief of the dog. Everybody knows dogs has personalities, and she just has a habit of taking cubs or stuffed animals or that, and she takes them out to several different places in the back. I've got a 2-acre fenced-in backyard, and about 3/4 of it is woods, pretty dense woods. And so that's normally where she takes her stuff, either right dead in the middle of the backyard or all the way back into the woods. So as soon as my wife screamed, I ran immediately out back, and at that point she came down. And then we began a pretty frantic search, looking for the dog and AJ. And at which point we ran around. There's trails back there, and ran, and just wasn't able to find either one of them. And in all of her hiding places, I'm cut up from the thorns, and just wasn't able to find her. And about that time, my wife says, "Call 911," which I hadn't done at that point, so I called 911, I think at 12:58. I looked back, and it was on 911, and I finally found Dakota. And at that point, I seen her with AJ, and she was carrying AJ like she carried a stuffed animal, very gentle, carrying around kind of like a loaf of bread. And the dog has a history of like that. She's playing a game, is what she's doing. And so we chased her around for a little bit, and couldn't get her to drop AJ, and actually lost her a couple more times. Then finally heard me yell at the back, and we'd gotten a hold of Dakota, my wife had, and then at that point we started looking for AJ, because she had dropped AJ. And so I started running around again, and then I finally found AJ, and I was able to, at that point I was on with 911, and EMT was on their way. And I don't know if I was supposed to, don't know if I know, but AJ's eyes was open, his mouth was bleeding, so you could tell he had some internal injuries. He had a little cut right here, which wasn't too bad, but he looked a whole lot better than what I thought he was going to look. But since he was so small, I just scooped him up with both hands, made it about halfway back to the house, and Ian took him over from there. When they first brought him in, because obviously in a situation like this, you have detective services and you have all kinds of stuff you're trying to deal with on site. And they had him, and one of the guys came up and said, "Look, he's breathing, he's crying." So we hung out at the house for about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and then another guy came up and said, you need to get to the hospital. So we rolled in, and they stick us in the consultation room with the pastor, and then our doctor was gracious enough to come in and talk, and you could tell she was visibly upset. At that point, they pretty much brought him in and had us see him just in case he didn't make it. And about 20 people, can't even thank UK enough, but they had about 20 people working around him. Gave him over 300 cc's of blood, which from my understanding is more than what an infant has to start with, down in ER alone. And he was really unstable, and then yesterday they worked it out and they got him to a stable state. So what he's been doing is fighting it, and that's the detective that came back and talked to us again. He said he's a fighter. You know, my wife had 5 hours of labor and 4 pushes, and he came out 3 weeks early, so he wanted to get here. And apparently he's still wanting to stay here, so he's fighting through. His official status is critical, but stable. All of his vital signs are stable. There doesn't appear to be any organ damage. He does have 2 cracked skull in 2 places, broken ribs. He's got both punctured lungs. And if you look at his chest, you can tell, he's got some scratches on it, but you can tell where she was carrying him. He was 2 punctured lungs, broken ribs, skull is cracked in 2 places. And though most thing, obviously I'm not a doctor, they're worried about the most was, and they're still worried about, is their number 1 priorities. He's got a puncture wound on the side that I don't know if it's leaking air in or what, but their biggest issue is that the air is coming in. So he just had his CAT scan, they're waiting to figure out what they're going to do after that. No, you're talking about a 3-day-old baby that was drug around for 10 minutes. It's just amazing that he's here. Oh, the doctor came out and she, late yesterday afternoon, 7 o'clock or something, early evening, she came out and she opened the door with a smile and she said that no, he's stabilized. I think he's going to make it. Last night we were tickling his feet, and he's moving all his feet. There's no retinal damage. With infants you have a possibility of retinal damage. There's none of that stuff going on. So from that standpoint, considering everything's as good as could be right now, but there's a lot of work to go. It's a nightmare. Perfect delivery. Everything was perfect. And 6, 12 more hours, everything was to be